Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you the final episode, yes guys. It's short but sweet. But it is the final episode guys. Of what if Naruto was a scientist who created a virus and infected himself. I just want to say thank you all for the likes, comments, those who have subscribed because of this video, those who have heard my voice and subscribed because of this video here. I just want to say thank you all guys. I appreciate every single one of them. But as usual, don't be sad because new what ifs are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy. So you know what? Sit back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. So yeah, remember to also go ahead and check out brand new episode of What If Naruto at his strongest was sent to another timeline on this channel and enjoy that guys. Over an Anime King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was taken by the 3 Sanins, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. And over Anime King 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was the Ultimate Saiyan, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family, and thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? So, the last spot we left off. Naruto stood on a tall building in the village that he was, as he was watching a team enter, as someone landed behind him as he told the person to greet them, which he did. Kakashi and the crew, and Uncle, was out of their league here as the woman beat the crap out of all of them, as she knocked them back before Naruto called her back as she vanished, welcoming them to the town. As Kakashi had to snap his arm back in place, as he was in pain. The group had then made their way to the mansion after, asking around the area, as many richer people had already left the village, hearing that there was some virus, but there didn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. As the group had moved toward the mansion, arriving there, Kakashi and his team had came for backup when they saw Kurnai and their students unconscious, but Uncle was gone. As they made their way inside, the person was revealed to be none other than Hinata, as she had something in her chest. As she looked at them, as Kakashi knew what it was, as it made her quite suggestible to commands, and Naruto was in control of her. But the biggest reveal was that Uncle was betraying them. After all, she was the one that brought them here, as she betrayed them, because she never liked the leaf. After what Orochimaru did, they view her as a poison, a parasite. And not to mention her best friend Kurnai was said to watch on her by the Hokage himself. And she also said that Uncle might not be stable enough to take the exam to Jonin, as Uncle made her pay for that by beating the absolute crap out of her. As Naruto made his way, he was rather pissed off though as his newest experiment failed, as he was trying to use Haku Ice Release, but it didn't work out so well, as the monster had frozen over the place and died. As the two decided to attack Naruto while Uncle took care of the body, as Naruto was amusing himself with them as he tried to take him down, but he showed them that they were far out of their league as he destroyed both Kurnai and Kakashi like they were nothing. Before he told Kakashi what he did, it turns out that Kakashi had created a seal that was like a miniature 1,000 explosive notes, as it was his way of getting into the Leaf organization. As Naruto placed that under the city, as everything went boom, as chaos ensued, as Naruto and Uncle left, Orochimaru on the other hand sent out his members to go and fetch the boy and bring him back here, as the boy was intriguing him more and more. When the group finally returned back to Konoha, Harrison was displeased to hear what happened, And not to mention, all that was left of the village was nothing but a smoking crater. This was bad. Really, really bad. As for Naruto, he was being attacked by Kimimaru, Jobo, and Teiwei. As Naruto subdued Kimimaru and Jobo like they were nothing, showing them that they were below his league. As he turned towards Teiwei, who stepped back as his eyes focused on her. She tried to jump back, but he told her there was no way to run, as he wouldn't let her go. Hinata was trying to fight off the mind control, but Naruto told her that she did this all by herself. It seems she was sick of the life that she had in Konoha after all. The thing barely had any control over her, but she still went along with what she did. She still fought. She still fought the Konoha ninjas. She liked the strength, she liked the power, but she refused to believe him, so he had knocked her out and sent her with Uncle. As Naruto had remained behind to take on the stone ninjas that were sent by Orochimaru, as he found it rather fun. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check up yourself, so yeah. What do you say we start up this final episode? Let's get straight into it guys. Orochimaru burst through the tree line. As he arrived on the scene to see Jobo, he was being hung upside down from a tree. A rather fat ass tree, given how big he was. Kimimaru was pinned to a tree with bone swords, his, to be exact. Both of them were surprisingly alive. Bad bruises over their faces though, like they were bashed in rather hard. As he then turned, as he heard a groan, as he saw Teiwei, as those wires tied around her waist, as her arms were pinned down so she could not move. The purple rope that she had around her waist was now tied to her face, and her cap was missing. He walked towards the girl that had yet to notice him. Teiwei, he called. There was a frightful look in her eyes as he moved forward. He removed the rope from her mouth as she shouted, "Behind you!" As Orochimaru turned to see Naruto, standing about 10 feet away from him, his arm crossed. "Greetings, Orochimaru. Care to tell me why you sent your dogs after me?" said Naruto. Timeskip Hayashi was silent in his office, as he felt helpless and used, as he didn't know why he held on to hope of ever seeing his firstborn daughter again. As another letter was delivered to him, as he opened it. "Hayashi, I congratulate you on a job well done, but I'm not finished with you yet. While you did a fantastic job in aiding me with the destruction of Rakuenshi, it's not enough. In the seal below is my next task for you. And remember, with each task that you complete, you're one step closer in reuniting with your daughter." As he had another picture of Hinata inside crying, he clenched his fists as he read what was on the inside of the scroll. How the hell would he be able to pull this off? Meanwhile, while your plan to destroy Konoha is nice and all, I don't see how the hell I'm gonna benefit from it, said Naruto, as he crossed his arms. After assuring that he didn't want to fight and promised to punch the three that attacked him, Orochimaru asked Naruto to join him, as Naruto did not see the reason for joining him, as Orochimaru offered him a chance to get revenge on Konoha. As Naruto told him that he was listening, Orochimaru explained his plans of attacking during the Chunin exams, but Naruto was not really convinced. "If you join me, I will give you power to rival the Hokage, or money that you can use to fund your own hidden village," Orochimaru said, trying to win Naruto over to his side. As Naruto chuckled darkly, "Both of which is something I do not need or want. Why would I want given power? It just shows how weak a human truly is to rely on another for power," said Naruto. "That's just pathetic. How about I give you everything that you need to study and develop that virus of yours," Orochimaru said, as he started to grab at every few options he had left. As Naruto raised an eyebrow. "How do you know about that?" he said. Orochimaru chuckled. "Quite a few people know about it, but they don't know how to make it. But the little destruction that you left in Konoha did not destroy all the notebooks, and Sarutobi Sensei has them. I had a spy take a couple of them for me, and I must say, you're quite the bio-engineer." Naruto smirked as he reached up and pulled off his glasses. He relished the shock that he saw in the snake man's eyes, and the redhead behind him. "I'll think about it," said Naruto, as he turned to leave. "Oh, Naruto-kun," Orochimaru said, as he tossed him something, as Naruto caught the object, as it turned out to be a scroll. "What is this?" said Naruto. "Let's just say it's a sign of good fate." As Naruto raised his eyebrow and smirked, he was beginning to like this man. He kind of reminded him of Hakuji, the only person he would trust in life. As Naruto chuckled again. "I will keep in touch," he said, as he slid the shades back over his eyes and disappeared in his infamous black smoke cloud. Time skip. Uncle sighed as she finally arrived back to wave. As she felt exhausted, she had been leaping from tree to tree for a while now, and with a dead weight on her shoulder, it didn't make it much better either. As she made her way, she saw a plaque. It was in memorial for the final resting place of the first protector of the Hidden Wave. As she shook her head, Naruto was right, the people of Wave was so blind to follow the first person that fought back against Goto. Her eyes went wide when she saw a statue of Naruto with those dogs at his side. His arms were crossed and there was a small smirk on his face. The detail was amazing to everything, from the small whisker marks on his face and not to mention the tears in his gloves. As she saw the candles and flowers surrounding it, it was amazing how one village could love someone so much and another could do the exact opposite. As she turned to leave, but she paused, but she realized one thing. She didn't exactly know where Naruto base was. Time skip. As Uncle was standing there as Naruto arrived. "Uncle," he said, catching her attention as she felt the barely suppressed killer intent. "Yes, Naruto-kun," she said, hoping that he wasn't mad at her. "Why are you just standing here?" said Naruto. She laughed nervously. "Well, you sort of forgot to tell me where your base was, and I saw that." As Naruto's sweat dropped before he turned his head to see what she was pointing at. "This was unexpected." "Oh well, I'll question it later," he said. "Give me your hand." As she held her hand out, as all three of them disappeared in a poof of black smoke. Time skip. A whole day passed since Uncle and Naruto arrived at the base with the unconscious Hinata, who had been placed under a sleep jutsu, as they smell a rather rotten stench, as Naruto had left a thug down here when he had went to go and kill Goto on the bridge. Kinda forgot about him. After they got rid of the body and cleaned itself out using a simple water jutsu, Uncle took all of Hinata's weapons away and slowly stripped her down until she wasn't wearing a thing, as Uncle poked her and said that her chest was almost big as hers. When she was finally finished, Naruto tossed a bundle of clothing as he took the weapons. As he showed Uncle around the place, she squealed in delight when she saw the torture room. All the instruments of torturing. It was amazing. But Uncle lost it though when he told her about Orochimaru, and that he was thinking about taking a deal. "What do you mean you're considering it? After what he did, he should burn in the deepest pits of hell," said Uncle in anger. "I don't know how to make it any clearer, Uncle-chan. He made me an offer, and I'm considering it. If things go well, it might help me speed up my plan. By a year or two," said Naruto. "Speed up your plan?" she yelled. "You're willing to become one of his pawns just to speed up your plan? That is stupid," she yelled. Naruto reached out and grabbed her by the shirt as he pulled her closer. "Let's get something straight," he said. "I am no one's pawn. I understand that you dislike your sensei, but if you dare question this," as he let the threat linger, as she stared at her reflections in his glasses. As he spoke once more, "I like you, Uncle," he said as he released her. "I really do. And I would never think of making you uncomfortable or force you to be anywhere near him. And if you hadn't blown up on me, I would have told you that the moment his usefulness come to an end, so will he." "So, you're planning on killing him?" "Of course," said Naruto. "After what he did to you, he deserved to die. He betrayed you, so I'll do the same to him." Before he could say anything else though, a pair of arms wrapped around him, as Naruto felt something wet. "Is she crying?" he thought to himself. I'm sorry," she said. "I overreacted and—" "Don't worry," said Naruto. "I understand the reason for your actions." As she nodded in thanks, as he returned back to what he was doing, as Uncle walked around. As she regretted snapping at him even though he forgave her, she still felt like a bitch. After all, he was still protecting her, and he was probably the only one that hasn't betrayed her in some way. As she released a sigh as she sat down, as she started to get bored, her Naruto-kun didn't have any prisoners for her to torture, and he wouldn't allow her to harm Hinata. She already went through the torturing room, and she picked out her favorite toys that she would use. As she found a folder, seeing that he was busy, she picked it up. Project Hank. The first thing she saw was a picture. When she opened it, a man around 30, short blonde hair, and small eyes, as he had a goatee. He had scars in his face. At the corner of his lips there was a slice, to make him look like he was smiling even when he was not. And there was a scar that came from his left eye going down, straight towards his cheekbone. As she was so engrossed looking through the files, she didn't notice that Naruto finished what he was doing as he sealed a scroll away in his arm. As Naruto glanced towards her, that was the first Tyrant project. But unlike the last two, it didn't use a parasite to stabilize itself. The man was captured by the Anfu, as he was from the Hidden Stone, but he was taken by Danzo's root, until Naruto murdered them and took the man. The idea was to brainwash him and start making genetic modified soldiers for the protection of the leaf. But due to problem with information, funding, and increase in potential recruits, they had to place his body in stasis seal before sealing it away. But now that Uncle was with him, he could have her work on the man while he took care of some other business. But he couldn't help but feel like he was forgetting something. Naruto-kun, what does decrease muscle aperture rate means? As Naruto's sweat dropped, oh yeah, she doesn't have any medical training, he thought to himself. Time skip. Kakashi, I have an assignment for you, Hiruzen said. Since you know the most about Naruto's strengths and abilities, I want you to train a group that can combat him. I don't want the council to know of this, because they will try to stop this to the best of their abilities, due to his bloodline, and I want to end this peacefully. I'd rather be safe than sorry, Hiruzen said. Do not tell them that you're trained to defeat Naruto if you have to. Tell them that you're trained to stop terrorism. That is if you wish to take this assignment. I accept, said Kakashi. Time skip. Hinata sat against the cold wall of her cell, as her eyes were puffy from crying. Ever since she had woken up, the only thing she really did was get dressed. As she realized she was naked, she ate what was ever brought to her, and she just stared at the wall, as her hair fell over her face, casting a shadow over her eyes. If she was paying attention, she would have felt that her eyes felt more comfortable, and her hair looked darker than normal. Her thoughts drifted to what Naruto said to her, and once again her eyes started to get moist with tears, as she did not notice her fingernails were a bit longer, and that they were more sharper than normal. Meanwhile, someone was having some rather naughty thoughts about him, as Teiwei couldn't figure out what she saw. Orochimaru was afraid of that blonde. Not that she blamed him, that blonde was scary as hell. But she remembered him tying her up, the way his gaze looked down towards her. There was just something about it. She shook her head. What the hell was she thinking? Why was the blonde now on her mind, as she folded over in her bed, trying to get some sleep? Meanwhile, as Naruto was in the armory, in the scroll that Orochimaru gave him, there was a note saying that he was lied to by the Hokage, and if you want to know the truth, it was sealed away in the bottom. What he found out pissed him off. It was his birth certificate, with both his parents' names on it, Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, his mother and father. Next, he found their personal files and learned that both of them had a bloodline, which he would likely get later on. But the biggest thing he found was his mother. Information. There was no death certificate. Instead, there was an address that was in the land of Whirlpool. It seems like it was time to pay Mother Dearest a little visit. As Naruto packed his things from the armor, as there was weapons inside, a lot of weapons. As Uncle stepped in, Uncle-chan, he said. Where are you going, she said, as she had a book held up to her chest. Whirlpool, said Naruto as he strapped a weapon pouch to his thigh. Whirlpool? She muttered, confused. Wasn't Whirlpool destroyed in a war? Why would you want to go there? It's personal, he said. He used a tone that he should not be questioned, so she did not. He then turned towards her. Uncle-chan, why are you loyal to me, he said. Why do you follow me? As that question had plagued his mind ever since he asked her to follow him, and she agreed. Ever since then he felt something that he never felt before. It was strange. Because you care about me. You don't care about my past or who my sensei was. And you only see me as uncle, she said. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Jiraiya, are you sure about this, Sarutobi asked, as he looked at the paper in his hand. Yes, my spy network has reported that Orochimaru is planning something big. Just how big are we talking about, Sarutobi said. Big enough for him to handle it personally, and my spies can't get close, because Orochimaru will find out, said Jiraiya. Sarutobi frowned whatever Orochimaru was planning. It would cause problem for Konoha, and with the Chunin exams coming up very soon. What about Naruto? Have you heard anything about him? Not much, said Jiraiya. But from what my spies send me, Orochimaru has been searching for him. I don't know why, but he's probably trying to get his hands on that virus thing he has. I see. From what Kakashi has told me, I hate to see with Orochimaru, would be able to do with it, said Hirzan. As both men went into a comfortable silence, Jiren was lost in his thoughts. With his network and everything, he had to be out there on the road, and he abandoned his godson. And 14 hellish years in the village, he had changed, and now he was seeking revenge on Konoha, which was bad, and he had no idea where he was or how to find him. Meanwhile, back with Naruto and Uncle. Okay, Uncle, follow me so I can show you what to do while I'm gone. While listing off the reasons of why she joined him, she got closer and closer until she was able to hug him. To her joy, he hugged her back, as they stayed like that for a while until they broke apart. First of all, I expect you to clean up after yourself, he said. You are to take in at her meals at the right times of each day. I expect you to do so without forgetting, he said, as he glanced towards her once again. Some rooms will be off limit to you while I'm gone, such as the supply room, my office, the freezer, and a few other rooms. And before you start, it's not that I don't trust you. It's because they hold many things that will cause major harm to you, and I don't want to take any chances since I won't be here to help you. I understand most of it, she said, but why can't I go in the freezer? Because the handle on the door will disappear if someone do a clearance, try to open it, and then it will give them a nasty shock if they disobey. I might notice in there that can harm me, she said. A whole lot of things actually. Various poison that need to be kept closely and tight in their containers. Chemicals that can eat through weaker containers. I see, she said, as she allowed the information to sink in. The two walked in silence as Naruto thought about his self-imposed mission, thinking of ways to slowly kill his mother in the most painful way for leaving him in the village. Uncle thought about deadly poison before she thought about how to get Naruto in bed. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Kakashi sighed, as Naruto was just too goddamn powerful from his near infinite chakra and his unwavering stamina, near godlike strength, speed, healing, not to mention his skills in all the arts. That alone made him rather dangerous. But the monsters and the virus and that Uncle was helping him, that made him more dangerous. Let's just make a list of his known skills. I'll figure it out from there, he thought to himself, as he pulled out his notebook, as he opened to see a stick Kakashi holding up a book in his hand. As there was two women beside him with their large chests, rubbing themselves against him. As he chuckled at his drawing, he turned the page as he fell off the tree after what he witnessed. In the book was Kakashi tied up to a post, with several copies of the Ichi series being burned, with a chubby version of Naruto and Uncle. Death to Ichi series, it read. And beneath that right, Naruto was here. When did he... As Kakashi thought about his precious books. Time skip, at Whirlpool. It took 2.5 days for him to reach there, and like Uncle said, it was mostly ruins. Having arrived at the crack of dawn, he saw the light coming from the large, castle-like mansion that was there. As he went deeper in the village, as he found a half-destroyed hospital. As he stepped inside, as he made a few shy clothes, sending them to explore the building as he walked around. Papers were scattered all around, dried up blood, staining the place. Chunks of the walls and ceilings were littering the floor. He arrived towards a sealed door. As he tried to open it, he heard jingling of chains. It was chained shut from inside as Naruto raised his feet, slamming his heel into it, knocking it off the hinges. As he found nothing but offices, filing rooms. As he arrived at the last door, rows of metal shelves with glass doors that contained medicine, aspirins, morphine, and many others, blood thinners, blood replenishers, painkillers. As Naruto pulled a scroll to seal everything away. Meanwhile he was doing that, Master, I sense a presence in the ruins of the hospital. Do you wish for me to seek it out and eliminate it? No, Mayu. It's probably just some traveler. Send a few hunters to take care of it. Yes, Master. Yellow reptilian eyes glow in the darkness. As clicking sounds could be heard. Time skip as Naruto was lying down, as he had pulled the chair together. As his clones had given information that the vegetation had taken over the hospital, as he had cracked through the windows and the floors. The overgrown had spread all over. Not that it mattered to him though, as he placed his coat over his head as shades. As he was looking into pure darkness, his sword was resting on his stomach. As he lay there waiting, he rolled over just in time as a claw hand shredded the area. He heard a few clicking noises as he dodged, another claw hand that would have taken off his head. As Naruto watched the creature that attacked him, as he narrowed his eyes, the thing was like a mix between a snake and crocodile, standing on two legs, deadly claws on both hands and feet. As the thing was tall as Naruto, as he could feel that another one of those monsters are hidden around him, ready to strike at him. Well, this is one hell of a way to start my morning, he said, as he moved forward. Meanwhile, with Anko, as Anko was bouncing on the ball for a heel as Naruto had surprised her with some dango, a lot of it. So 10 minutes later, 2 boxes, 46 sticks later, Anko was relaxing as she tried to reach for the last stick, but she fell off the chair and dropped towards the floor. She looked towards the clock on the wall that said 7:30. Time to feed the brat. As she dragged herself off the floor, she made her way to the fridge. 20 minutes later, 2 cinnamon buns, 3 of her leftover dango sticks and rice, and a plastic cup of tea all in a small tray. She was quite proud of herself for cooking such a meal, but she was annoyed at the same time. The brat eat better than I do, and she's a prisoner, she said, as she walked down the dark hallways. As she wondered why her Naruto-kun was treating the Hyuga so good, she didn't know. She saw the blood stains and she knew how sadistic he could get. From the rumors that went around, from those that joined him on missions, when she was back in the Leaf, she walked past a few empty cells until she reached Hinata's. The girl was curled up in a ball, with her thumb in her mouth. How cute. As her cell was a lot better than the others. She had a working toilet, a metal bunk bed that was held up to the wall by 2 chains, with a soft, comfy mattress, a comfy looking pillow, and a white fluffy sheet. Hell, Naruto put a table there so she could have something to place her food on or clothing when he brought her new clothing. Somewhere deep inside him was a kind and gentle guy, as she thought about it, even though he barely showed it. The way he tried to make her cell more comfortable, the way he brought her food. Or perhaps he had bigger plans for her, but at least he was nice to her, Uncle thought to herself, as she opened the cell door and sneaked in, as she saw the girl tossing and turning on the mattress. She looked so cute, she thought, as she remembered that the girl was a deep sleeper as she placed down the tray. Naruto said that she shouldn't torture her, but from memory served, when she was playing with her, Naruto liked it, as that brought a smile to her face. Meanwhile, as Naruto dodged the other claw swipe, as he smashed his fist where a human kidney would be, before driving his sword right through the creature's head. They had put up a good fight, attacking like a pack of wolves would to their prey. As he sealed their body away, he would study it later, as he took his coat and put it on. Something was up there as he looked towards Manjan, and it sent those things after him, as Naruto dropped his chakra levels rather quickly, so they wouldn't sense him anymore. Meanwhile, Master. Yes, Mayu? The presence I sent a moment ago, it's now gone, along with the 3 hunters. I see. Were they successful in their mission? The one I felt disappear a minute after the other 3 did. Is that a yes or no, you little bitch? I'm not sure, Master. Slap! The sound of flesh hitting flesh echoed across the room as a body hit the ground. You are displeasing me. Do I have to punish you again? Sniffle could be heard. No, Master. I'm sorry. Then get out before I change my mind. As the person quickly left, as the Master sat back down, I felt it too. While I can't pinpoint the location like she can, I can tell it's still there. Weak, but still around. It seemed so familiar as well. Could it be? As the woman stepped forward, as she was holding on to a cane in one hand, as she had bright red hair. Meanwhile, Naruto would wait until the sun went down. What would be a better way to catch someone than when they were sleeping? Time skip. Back at Naruto's base of operation, as Uncle had 4 scratch marks. They weren't deep or life-threatening, but they hurt like a bitch. As she stand in her personal bathroom as she checked her wounds, she winced as they stung. In her cell, Hinata fumed as she sat down, her arms crossed. Her face was red with a mixture of embarrassment and fury, as she pictured multiple ways to kill that perverted bitch that tried to molest her while she was sleeping. Uncle shot her to herself as she thought that the Hyuga was trying to think of ways to kill her, as Uncle had allowed her to go to the showers so that she could take a bath. As she wasn't worried about the girl trying to escape, as Naruto had sealed off her chakra. She went without a fight though, her eyes puffy and red, signaling that she was once again crying, as she seemed to have given up on fighting against Naruto, on what he had said to her. The way she walked, her movements were small and a bit nervous as she went in the shower room, as Uncle came in behind her. "Do you have to watch?" asked Hinata. Uncle had a look of indifference on her face. "Like a hawk," she said, as she closed the door and crossed her arms. It was a lie though, because she could go and leave. But hey, who would pass up a free show? But, said Hinata, she was too embarrassed to strip in front of another person, even if that person was a female. As Uncle gave her best Naruto stare. "I could put you back in your cage if you want that. So stop being a prude and strip, and let's get this over with." "I have better things I could be doing," Uncle said, trying to imitate Naruto as best as she could. Hinata turned away as she opened the locker to her clothing, as she started to undress. As Uncle quietly waited and enjoyed the show. The fact that she was controlling the girl in a way, that was what really got her off. As she imagined Naruto in front of her, being the one stripping. As Hinata was finished, her arms were covering herself. Can I get a towel please?" she said, as she could not look Uncle in her eyes. In the flashback, when the girl had turned the water on, it was cold, as Hinata had jumped back, as Uncle couldn't stop herself as she moved in, and grabbed the girl in a rather sensitive area. Hinata had screeched as she swiped at Uncle with a slap, but her claws slashed her in the face. Notice she thought about it, Hinata's eyes did flash red. She will have to talk to Naruto about that when he get back. Meanwhile, it was finally time as Naruto moved, as he hopped from tree to tree until he was close enough to the mansion. As he hid in the shadows, as he checked himself one last time. Once he was sure that everything was in order, he moved towards the door as he tensed, as it made a squeaking sound. As Naruto stepped in and closed the door, his senses screamed at him to move as he tilted his head as a spear stabbed right into the door. As he looked down the hall to see a young girl, about a year or two, younger than him, as she was holding a crossbow in her hand. As Naruto glanced towards the spear, it was actually an arrow. Flashback to earlier. "Mayu, gather your weapons, it seems. We have an intruder." Mayu looked up in confusion, but Master, I don't sense anyone. There was a pause as the older woman looked down at the girl. "Are you questioning me, Mayu?" No, I'm sorry. "I'll get right to it, Master Kushina," Mayu said, as she sprinted off. Kushina watched with emotionless eyes as the girl ran. Mayu was a slightly failed experiment to her. It seems like no matter how many times she punished her, she just could not get rid of her stupidity and emotions. While she was almost able to grant the clone slight control over fire and complete loyalty to her, it seems that the negatives outweigh the positives. But Mayu was the only clone to come out just looking like her when she was younger. To kill Mayu would be to like killing herself. But at the same time, the young girl reminded her of what could have been. She reminded her of him. The sound of the door opening once again broke her from her thoughts as Mayu was standing there, as she was dressed in a green battle kimono, as she had her two weapons strapped to her side. "Second floor hallway," said Kushina. Back to the present time, as Naruto studied the girl. "You know, a crossbow is only good if you can hit your target, and it takes too long to reload." Naruto was cut off as he dodged another bolt that slammed into the door behind him. "You like? Master had it made for me, so I can kill morons like you who trespass on our land." "Seals," said Naruto. "How interesting. And who might you be?" "I am W24, but Master has named me Mayu. Remember it in the next life." As Naruto blurred away, the girl stepped back as Naruto's fist was thrust upwards. An uppercut that would have easily broken her jaw, but she was able to step back before it connected. As Mayu put a good distance between them as she ran down the hall, as she ducked into the corner. As Naruto looked around, "You can't hide forever," he said. The sound of her crossbow going off alerted him, but it was too fast for him to dodge. He nearly cried out in pain as he grit his teeth, as it ripped through his clothing and tear into his skin, stabbing right through his shoulder. Naruto reached up and gripped it as he ripped it out. As he grit his teeth in frustration, Mayu stood there in shock. "My kami," she said, as she was wide-eyed in fear. This wasn't a man. No, this was a monster. As she gripped her crossbow with her shaking hands, as Naruto's eyes snapped towards her, before he moved, leaving shady after images in his way. The next thing she knew, her throat was grabbed. "That hurt. You little bitch," said Naruto, as he started to squeeze. Mayu couldn't believe how strong he was. It was unreal, scary even. Trying to pull away from him only caused her more pain, and she could already feel tears forming in her eyes. She balled her fist as she slammed her fist into his face, but he took them like it was nothing. His grip tightened on her as she tried to push against his arm, as Naruto pulled his fist back to crack her skull until her fist shot forward once again, but this time she was holding the curved knife that was on her back. Everything froze as the sound of metal hitting flesh, along with a splatter of blood and something hitting the ground, was sound out. Mayu's eyes were clenched shut, as the thought of opening her eyes to see her bleed running directly through her skull made her sick. As she slowly opened her eyes, she felt her heart stop as Naruto's hand was out. Her blade had cut into the middle of his ring finger as he had held his hand out to stop the blade from slicing him right in the face. As Naruto threw her as she slammed into the wall, he ripped the knife out as his bones and muscles reattached himself. As Naruto walked as he kicked something, he reached down and picked it up. It was her crossbow. It was really nice. Whoever made it was an expert, as it had collapsible sides to fold in to make it much smaller. He didn't know how it worked, but he would find out later. As he moved towards her, she had no weapons left. He gripped her by the ponytail as he pulled her up eye level. "Tell me, where's your master?" he said, as tears of pain fell down her face. She reached up and tried to remove his hand, the same one that was dripping with blood. "Up yours," she said to him. "Fine, I don't need you to tell me anyway, but I'm gonna make you regret shooting me," said Naruto, as he reached and grabbed her neck, releasing her hair. As Naruto turned his eyes as he looked around, seeing him turn his face, Mayu punched him in the back of the head as his glasses fell off. As Naruto gazed towards her, his eyes frightened her. "You annoying little pest," as he threw her, she bounced off the wall and rolled down the hall. As Naruto picked up his glasses and moved, he slammed a heel into her chest as she coughed up blood. Before she was thrown, as she smashed into the railing, collapsing face first. As he thought that she was dead, seeing that she was not moving, but he saw the slight movement in her back. She was breathing, even though it was shallow. "I must commend you, Mayu, was it? You put up a great fight. It almost pained me to kill you. It's actually funny. A girl younger than me injured me more than a full-grown adult." As he walked towards her, calmly going down the stairs, as she whimpered in pain, but she forced herself up. I'm not giving up," she said, as her arms trembled. Naruto removed his trench coat as he put it on the railing, as he moved towards the girl and stomped on her hand with his foot. "Tell me, why do you fight so hard?" he said, as he looked down towards her with his cold, hateful eyes. She didn't answer as he pressed, snap, a bone in her hand broke. She cried in pain as she tried to pry his foot off. "Tell me," he yelled at her. "Because it was what I was made for," she said, trying to stop the pain in her hand. Naruto removed his foot as she pulled her hand back, sobbing to her chest. As Naruto spoke his voice, there was no hatred. "Your master name, is it Kushina?" She nodded, but she never looked up. "Would you die for her?" said Naruto, as she nodded once again. "If you tell me where she is, I'll take all your pain away," said Naruto, "and you never have to worry about her being in trouble ever again." She glanced up towards him. Really? Really, said Naruto. Time skip. Lightning flash as a single person sat down, until another person seemed to just appear at the door. "It's you, the original." "No, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, your son." The emotionless voice of Naruto came out as Kushina was sitting down. Kushina was once a strong woman with a brilliant mind, something she was really proud of as well. But after she left Konoha, her body started to weaken from childbirth, and the exposure of the vile chocolate from the Kyuubi didn't help it one bit. She was once hailed as the Red Death of Konoha forces, and now she had used a cane to get around. "No, you're not," she said. "He died the day of the Kyuubi attack." "I see," said Naruto. "So you too believe that I'm the demon that is sealed inside of me?" "No, I believe in Minato's seal, but what I say is true. You are not my real son, although you look identical to Minato-kun. Fitting, I guess. After all, I did use more of his DNA on you than the others. But it seems you're more like me. Naruto stepped closer. Explain, he said in an angry tone. She laughed. You know that present you got after your 10th birthday? The books. And a sample of the virus, she said. How do you know about it, she said, cutting in. Who do you think sent it to you? I was the one, she said. The virus was an incomplete version of my own. And I rely on your drive to find a way to complete it. As Naruto grit his teeth. If it wasn't for the Kyuubi attack, we could have created a new world. With a new, super breed of humans. Given birth by the progenitor. Virus. My life work, she said. The Whisker children were entrusted with endless potential. So that they would protect and serve us. And weeding out those who are unworthy of living in our new world. And repopulate it with our DNA. But then the Kyuubi attacked us. I was pregnant at the time. And poor little Naruto died. After I gave birth to him. As Naruto took a step back, the woman had an insane look in her eyes as she went on. Then I heard that Minato was concealed, the fox inside Naruto, and he was on his way. So I left and went back to my compound to get one of the Whisker children, only to find out that there was only one left. The others had died because of a demon chakra, but you, W01, you were the only one left. Are you saying that I was manufactured, said Naruto in a snarl. Yes, just like my you. I find it funny in a way. You just murdered your own baby sister. Naruto grit his teeth. She wasn't my sister. The little bitch deserved what she got. Kushina was surprised. She expected him to be shocked and freezing up, so that she could manipulate him, but that is not what she got. She winced as something stabbed into her arm, pinning her hand down to the chair as the same blade that Mayu used was now embedded in her arm. No, this can't be happening. I was to become a god, she said. As Naruto appeared in front of her, she felt an unending pain in her stomach. She looked down, as Naruto's hand was buried through her stomach and ripped through her back. She coughed up blood. She raised a hand she placed on his cheek. You look just like I pictured Naruto would if he had grown up. How ironic for the one with the right to become a god to face her own mortality by the same person that looked like her son. Naruto ripped his hand out of her. As she started to follow, you become a god. Only those with the capability of becoming a god deserve the right, said Naruto, as her body dropped lifeless. And that right, lightning swallowed the entire place, is now mine, said Naruto, as his eyes shined brightly. And that is where it ends, guys. Yes, a big cliffhanger. I know it, but there is supposed to be a sequel, so I'm gonna be checking that out. And tell me down below if you want the sequel to continue, guys. But I must say, I thank you all for your support and your likes and comments and everything, guys. So if you guys want the sequel, just comment down below and tell me. So this is basically the end of part 1. Well, season 1 to be exact. So yeah, I'm out for now. Stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way. Peace, guys.